So we've been working on Darts RPG now for around 6 months. In this video I'm going to show you everything we've done in those 6 months and everything we've got planned going forward. So for those of you who don't know, Darts RPG is an open world darts role-playing game set in Northern England in the 1990s. You play as someone who has just lost their job in the local gravy mine and you've got no other income, so you turn to darts to try your luck at winning some money to hopefully pay your rent on time. So this was an idea born from a pub conversation between two mates playing darts. We both love darts, we love pubs, we love retro games like Pokemon, and we got excited enough about the idea to actually create a game ourselves. So straight out of the gate, we didn't want to create just another darts simulator. There hasn't been a darts game on the market for many years, and a lot of them just include those meters where you have to click at the right time to get the right power level and the right accuracy. We kind of wanted to retain the core basis of a darts match, but freshen it up a bit with something a bit more exciting and fast-paced. But we also wanted to retain a lot of the kind of core feeling from the 90s and playing darts in a pub with your mates, with a pint, smoke filling the room, and just a generally good atmosphere. So we chose to go down the route of pixel art in this game. We thought it'd be the most accessible way to create our game fast, and also having the pixel art look does give you that kind of retro feel from the 90s. So the first thing we created for the game was the actual dartboard itself and a scorer to go alongside it. We wanted to implement the basic mechanics of a darts match into the game first, get that functioning correctly, and then once we had that in place, then we could start thinking about how to make the game actually more fun and exciting. So the first idea we had is quite a modern idea, and it's implementing a kind of deck building element into the darts match in the form of beer coasters instead of cards. So before each game, you can choose which coasters you bring into the match with you. Your opponent does the same, and then the match begins as normal. Then throughout the game, you have opportunities to play those coasters at opportune moments to give yourself an advantage or to put off your opponent so he makes mistakes. So a favourite of mine is the coaster we've dubbed the Stinger Brewing coaster. It's kind of a homage to the Ali Pali Wasp, if anyone's familiar with the Darts World Championships. Basically, there's a wasp that constantly bothers players on stage, lands on them, goes on the dartboard, and generally gets in the way. So we wanted to pay homage to that by creating a card that essentially lets you introduce a wasp onto the screen, which in turn puts off your opponent. So he flies around, reduces your opponent's accuracy, distracts him, and can cause him to miss his next shot, for example. So it's little things like this that we wanted to introduce into a darts match that kind of change the flow of the game somewhat. So you might not always be playing well, but you've always got the opportunity to play a coaster that might boost your accuracy or do something else that might give you an advantage in the game. As well as that, opportunities to speed the game up and make it a more faster and fun experience. So the second mechanic we've introduced into the darts game, this one is probably quite obvious, but it's a drinking mechanic. So in the 90s, and basically the history of darts, people used to drink when they played darts. It was a social game after work, and you'd have a pint with your darts match. So we wanted to again retain a lot of that culture from the 90s. So to do that, we've implemented basically a drunk or drinking system into our game, which directly affects how you play darts. So when you play darts, everyone has that magic number of drinks that you can drink before you start playing well. Mine is around 2 pints, maybe 2.5 pints, but everybody's different. So we wanted to introduce this element into the game so that, again, you could go into our game and not drink anything, but if you were to drink, you could try to drink the perfect amount of pints to find your kind of golden level, the level at which you're going to perform at your best. So it's another mechanic we've added into the game to almost, one, give you an advantage, but it's just something else to think about when you're playing the game. Again, your opponent will have a golden level as well, so it's something else you need to think about, the timings of how drunk you're going to get, when your beer is going to wear off, and things like that. So right now, 6 months in, we're in a position where all of those mechanics are now functioning. So basically the next steps are to polish and add some additional animations here and there for the kind of different things that are happening with the coasters. Outside of those game mechanics, I've been creating the world of Froglington. We're still unsure on the name of Froglington, but we're running with it for now. It's kind of an amalgamation of a few different towns from our past. As well as that, I've been designing buildings, vehicles, and NPCs, and also we're creating a cutscene that's going to be shown just as you start the game, which kind of tells the story of where you are in life. So as I mentioned earlier, you're a person who's just lost their job at the gravy mine, and you're sad and depressed. You get on the train home and head to the pub. So this cutscene is going to basically set the scene and hopefully help you connect with our character. So we want our players to connect with our character. We're putting a lot of effort into the world building and side storylines so that you feel more connected to the world. So now we have all the core mechanics sorted for the actual darts game. We're now working on inventory and the kind of financial system in the game, the purchasing of items in shops or in a bar, at the pub. And then, as well as that, we're also fleshing out all the interiors for the buildings and making sure the darts game that we've created is working and in place in each of the pubs. So as a part of that, we've got to build a lot of different furniture, jukeboxes, cigarette machines, and bar tables and stools and things like that. So once that is all in place, we can then start populating the world with NPCs and getting our core storyline implemented and working. So right now, we're essentially building the mechanics. There is no story in place. And then once we've positioned everyone, we can start fleshing out how those characters interact with each other and how you interact with these characters that eventually bring you along to the end of our game. We're building the game so that each town has its own kind of core storyline, and then you can move on to another town once you've finished. So initially for our first release, it's going to be this first core town. And we're hoping to have a working demo of this as we approach the summer, with at least the main story loop in place. And then hopefully we can get some feedback on that and build it from around there. So then eventually our goal, hopefully, is to have the entire town, the first town of Froglington, in early access and released towards the end of the year. We're then hoping to build it from there, as I mentioned, and start populating the world with more towns that you can visit via the train station or the bus station, which should hopefully help give players more opportunity and choice of where they want to take their darts career. So they can go to local tournaments, they can go to other pubs in other towns and things like that and explore. Hopefully keeping the game fresh, and also gives you an opportunity for your character to keep progressing and leveling up. Basically, we didn't want the game to end in this first town. We want more opportunities for your character to develop and push themselves to be a better darts player. So, that's Darts RPG. If you'd like any more information, please feel free to head over to our Steam page, where you can find a trailer that we released a month ago. It's kind of a reveal trailer, so there isn't much in there right now. But we also post updates on our Steam page every couple of weeks, which are usually a little bit more in depth than this. So if you like the look of our game and want to follow along, please consider subscribing, liking the video, and check out our next videos in the coming weeks. Thank you very much, everyone.